Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank you for coming to the Hour of Power, brought to you by and trademarked by BMT. This is a special time every Sunday around 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, and I think it would be would it be four Pacific? But it's a time in which we get to sit down, go over topics, topics and discussions over things that we, as a minority, as a people, can actually self-adjust and attune to. These are self-developing solutions that we can handle and fix on our everyday life. I'd like to first give a shout out to the panel. They didn't have to come, but they chose to come and literally help out and actually help us solve issues. We have our co-hosts, we have our people who come, as well as our guests who come through, and they help us build towards a promising future. I also like to give a shout out to Mr. Ho Jung Kang for remaking "Through the Fire" by the great and graceful Shaka Khan. If you don't know who Shaka Khan is, literally my girls caught me off guard, but they didn't know who Shaka Khan was. That is a classic. She's a classic. God forbid we ever lose her. We already know we're going downhill. I understand that right now the nation is definitely going through some trying times. So I thought this song was very befitting. We have some topics that we're going to go through today. And we also have some stuff that we're going to discuss. So I'm joined here with the panelists. I would like y'all to introduce yourself if you would like to. Let me start it from Miss Dana, and then I'll take it over to Miss Michelle, Miss Kai, and Mr. Marlon Rowland, our special guest. And we'll have more guests that will be coming through as time goes on. So go ahead. How you doing, Miss Dana? The real Dana,
Hey,
excuse me. Dana, you sound low.
I
Go ahead.
shouldn't sound low. I
Okay.
should sound
You're good.
fine.
You're good.
No, hi everybody. Hopefully it's a good discussion, which is pretty much is. So, hi. Subscribe to the Road Dana.
I got you. I got you. And I will drop for anybody who's coming through, please, I'm gonna drop the links of the channels that are coming through and content creators. So we have it also for Miss Nichelle. She is practicing, well, her practice is in law, but I'll let her give her intro for you guys. Nichelle, are you there? I don't think she's there at the time. Can anybody hear Nichelle?
No.
No, okay. Nichelle, we can't hear you, dear. We can't hear you. Nichelle, try backing out, coming right back in there. Okay, we're joined here by Miss Kai. How you doing, Kai? Of course, as well as our research and development, as well as one of the co-hosts of the editorial team for BMT. How you doing, Kai? I don't think Kai is here. Wow, nobody is literally at their mic. This is crazy.
Hello?
Kai, are you there?
Yeah, hold on one second, Jamar. Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
Thank you. I'm trying to help out your other panelists that was supposed to be coming on here, so I
Okay.
think I'm going to have to go take care of that.
Okay. So you're talking about the other
Actually,
panelists? Okay.
hold on. Yes, Joe. Okay.
Okay.
All right. If I don't see y'all have a great discussion.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. We also have Seventh Project, a very highly intellectual brother who's coming through. Um, He's also a very good mentor, as well as helps you self-develop. Seventh Project, go ahead, brother. Welcome.
Yes, Joe. Okay.
Thank you for having me, BMT. Peace
Yes.
to everybody on the panel and in the chat. This is the seventh project here. I'm tuning
We
in from
also
New
have
York, Brooklyn.
on Seven. Does somebody have the channel running in the background? Could they mute? Turn off the YouTube to the channel. Turn off the YouTube to the channel. All right, there you go. Go ahead, Seven.
Yeah, as I was saying, I'm tuning in from New York, Brooklyn, and we actually have a program later on tonight, this evening, over at our flagship channel, the Seventh Coast Dojo. We're going to be doing a literary analysis, well, continuing the literary analysis of The Man Not by Tommy J. Curry, and discussing Black male issues. And I'm honored to be a part of the conversation. So thank you for having me.
Always, always, always. Also have a highly amazing brother. I wouldn't have started networking as hard as I did and learning about the power of networking, especially on YouTube, if not been for my brother Yusef Watif. Literally, he, like I said, and I would be doing him a disservice if I did not have bring him in for this one. This is definitely his will and field of expertise. So Yusef, go ahead, brother.
Good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I am in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I've lived in over 15 countries. I have second citizenship. I'm almost second citizenship. I have permanent residency in Brazil. And I'm glad to be a part of the panel. I looked at some of the things that we're going to be discussing. Everyone is welcome to my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Yusef Watif. And I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Okay. All right. And I'm pulling up all their channels right now. So that way y'all know me. I love to showcase my guests, their channels, because I believe Michelle should be back. Michelle, are you back there?
Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Let me know when you're good, so that way I can. Let me know when you got it good. So that way I can pull you in. But yes, we do have a slew of stuff to go over. I sat down with one of my content writers, and I was on the pad going over stuff. I usually throughout the week I go through, I watch other people's content, and I literally mash it with a nice algorithm of how. Thank you, Seven. I usually mash it together with a nice algorithm of pretty much what we can actually put together. And so that's why I try hard to be very observant of pretty much everything that we have going on. What we have going on, and pretty much it's not something. That's how much I revere these the co-hosts, my networking pals, like Yusef, and I talk with Michelle. I don't know. She's like beating into my head all types of law. I enjoyed what Dana was talking about with the ACON, and I know I had to reach out to Yusef because he's an expat also. But we also are joined here also by Brother Marlon. Can you hear us, Brother Marlon? I'm sure he's on mute. But I know we have Brother Marlon here, and I definitely want to bring him. He's also a developer, also when it comes to finance. So I want you to understand everybody I have here with Seven, Yusef, Dana, Michelle, and Kai and different other people are definitely key components for what we're going to need into self-developing. I think that's one of the greatest powers that we can actually have, especially with what's going on with the country right now. And I think, Michelle, if you want to point that out and why we are definitely talking about self-development, especially in these trying times. Go ahead, Michelle.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Attorney Michelle Foster. I'm so excited that I finally got my mute button to work. I'm excited about this time because we're now in a macroeconomic economy. Those that can survive will learn to interface with the internet. What does that mean? It means more than just content creation. It means we are now in a global network setting where people in little towns like Pohunk, Florida, have just as much access to customers in Canada, Jamaica, any place that they want as Walmart. So you don't need the big retailers to get your name out there. You can actually provide goods and services across national borders far more easily than any other time in the Earth's existence. So I'm excited when I listen to Black people talk about they want to get to the next level. Well, macroeconomics is where it's at. I've taken a corporation that was doing $45 million in the United States to doing $120 million domestically and internationally. So the world is your oyster if you can come up with the right product or services to give to our other brothers and sisters that are scattered throughout the diaspora. Joe?
Yes, ma'am, and thank you for that. So now you understand why we brought this apart. This is going to be something that you don't need nobody's permission to get into. This is something that we're talking about empowerment of ourselves in this. So that's why we named the power this one right here, Mentoring and Expat, to build while shifting through national investments. This is something that a lot of African Americans or minorities are scared to do. I'm telling you right now, they rather work under somebody than actually go about and say, hey, I'm going to actually try my weight in other things and mentor myself. Self-mentoring is very empowering. And I definitely wanted to put that over. So the next first question, and we asked for our panelists to answer the best they can. If they don't understand, hey, just say, I don't get it, and just pass on. Somebody else will pick up on it. With the high rise of sickness and economic conditions, can the African American and other Black groups look to themselves? This is definitely come about where we know that there are. I shout out to Youssef. He was talking about how in down there in South America, the medical treatment is a lot different than it is here in the U.S., especially in certain minority areas. The treatment is different. And
what's true is that it's not necessarily South America, is that in almost every country in the world, healthcare is better and more able to be accessed by average people than it is in the United States. The United States sees healthcare as a revenue source, as opposed to other countries where they may overtax you on electronics or overtax you on other things, but basic medicine to keep you alive is not meant to build revenue. So whereas in Brazil, I'm sure the medical companies can mark up the cost of a drug by 100% and it's still affordable by the average working family. In the United States, it's marked up by millions of percentage. So with my company, I do expat relocation services, and quite a few of those people find out that living outside the United States are coming to a place like Brazil where the standard of healthcare is about the same as it is in the United States. You're simply not paying for it. Where your tax money means if you get sick, you can just go to an average hospital. Are there high-rise hospitals full of luxury goods? Absolutely. But your basic neighborhood hospital or medical station, you can just go there. You don't have to wait until you're sick. You don't have to wait until you have to figure out whether or not I have a copay. It's you have your medical card from the country, and my clients, I help them get one of those too. It's a simple process. You go in, you show them your card, and that's simply it. And for most Americans, they have a hard time understanding that. I have clients and friends who have dealt with major medical issues in the United States that's costing them $1,000 to $2,000 a month in medicine. They leave the United States and relocate someplace like Brazil. The same medicine costs, I don't know, $10, $20 a month. Not that the medicine was worth $10,000 a month, it's worth $10 a month, but the markup in the medical industry puts them in a situation to never be able to afford it. I have a hard time explaining to my clients and friends in Brazil and other countries, that in the United States, you either have the money for the medicine or you just get sick and die, which is something they can't really comprehend because they would say, but it's medicine. It's not like you're buying cars and computers, it's medicine. Why would they charge you for medicine? That's a question I'd like to ask as well. I'm looking forward to the opinions of other people if they've also been expats. For those who don't know, an expat is short for expatriate. It's someone who lives outside of their country with the intention of going back. Although I probably graduated from expat to immigrant. I'm an immigrant in Brazil, but for the common nomenclature, they're going to call me an expat anyway.
Okay. Thank you
Well,
so much.
just to elaborate on you with that, with the medicine, you're right. The medical field here, the healthcare field here in the United States is for profit. And when you're talking about, when they ask question, well, why do you have to pay for it? Because you're talking about health insurance companies dictate really the prices of the pharmaceutical companies, which is charging. So you have big pharma, you have health insurance, you have the food industry, all kind of like working together. They have big billions of dollars to pay politicians to produce public policy. What is that in the background? To produce public policies in their favor, so that they could keep generating billions of dollars annually. So, it's capitalism. Because when somebody asks you the question, well, why? Well, just tell them capitalism. It is a for-profit healthcare industry here in America. And it's not just pharma, it's health insurance company.
Right. Yeah. So I want to bring this over to Brother Seventh. With the high rise, could y'all mute up if y'all got a lot of noise in the background? With the high rise of sickness and economic conditions, can the African American, as well as other blacks, look to themselves? And I mean, what I mean by that, straightforward. It's literally straightforward on, is it time for us to start looking for out sources of where we can get medical stuff brought to us? And that's why I'm bringing that. I bring that because I literally have a friend who doesn't live, he's in the Hispanic community, but where they get a lot of their stuff, believe it or not, is out of the U.S. They have a little store and they sell it for less than the dirt price, and they all can afford it. Same medicine I get out of CVS, but literally they at their bodega. I used to go there and have no problem going there. So if I needed medication, I would go straight there and get my come up of medication. You know what I'm saying? And when I took it to the VA, they're like, "Oh snap! How did you get this before prescription?" I'm like, "Wait, this is that? Yeah." So VA versus and so I'm just showing you some other communities are getting their stuff from their regional area, but just for less than pennies on a dollar. Go ahead, Seven.
To both Yusuf and Dana's point, right? When you have a healthcare system and like food industry down to what we consume, everyone's in cahoots, right? So now the onus is on us to start to educate ourselves, at least introductory level, right? Starting, that's taking the baby step. Introductory level to what we're consuming. That way we don't have to worry about the sickness. I'm a firm believer in preventative measures. So, and as far as like dietary practices goes, that's your stomach is your second brain realistically. And that influences the productivity you get out of your body, right? I think that we should start to pay attention to what we're consuming. I know it's cheap. I know the things like McDonald's and stuff is cheap and it feels good when you eat it. But at the same time, we have to wean ourselves off of that kind of stuff if we're talking about like the health tip. Now, as far as economic goes, I'm also a firm believer in supporting Black businesses. So I do actually, I support a brother who just started his line of work as a chef, and now he just got to a restaurant. He owns like a booth in a restaurant, and he comes out every weekend with different like vegan options. So I support that brother and all his endeavors. And his wife actually is very dynamite. She's selling like CMOS products as well here in New York. So I think that this is a time where we're starting to wake up and look to ourselves or Black groups, if you will. And I do think that it's imperative. So to answer your question, yes, on the short side.
Okay, thank you. All right, so far, I'm liking this because we're actually showing that some of us are actually starting in our communities to look at outsourced ways to save $1. So that's actually a pretty good way to look at it. We have also Brother Marlon. Is your mic working, sir? I'm not sure Brother Marlon's mic is working yet, but I will get back to him. We're also joined here by Brother Information Man. Sorry that you missed the introductory portion, as well as Brother Jay Collins. I think Brother Jay Collins came through. So let me get it over to Kai. Kai, can you hear us? Okay. All right, Kai, are you still on
Yes,
mute?
hi everybody.
Okay. Kai, so
Can you hear me?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Kai. Going on up there in New York area, for a lot of the minorities, are they changing up on how they're spending costs, especially with the rise of medication and economic change in the climate? Are they changing up their spending on rather going to major production places? Are they going to like other different avenues to go, get medicine, treatment, food, or are they just staying the same?
I really can't answer that by the masses, but
Right, it's okay.
I can say that a lot of the small businesses are being more patronized now, being more in the spotlight. So they've been getting more contributions, more customers towards there. Versus, I could say where a lot of the clothing, certain foods, especially fast foods, which someone was just talking about, the way we spend on food and things like that. Now I'm seeing more of community based, even like eateries, things like that being more utilized than I've seen before. I could say that part that much. And I wasn't even aware of certain businesses that are around the area in some parts of New York. But now that I know, because of the pandemic and things that are going on, I can go there and try out some other places, within the communities, like African eatery, things like that. They're popping up on the news more now because of what's going on. So I do
Okay.
see that, and that, economically, that part. See.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And we also are joined here. Is Mr. Jay Collins? Are you still on mute or are you off mute, sir?
I was on mute, trying to keep it
Okay.
respectful.
How you doing, Jay? How you doing, sir? How you doing,
I'm
Jay?
doing pretty well.
Okay. So, and I'm glad that you were able to make it. I wanted to ask you, see your difference of this question. With the high rise of sickness, economic conditions, can African Americans and other Black groups look to themselves or other sources towards, getting, the supplement of food, medication, and different other stuff? Or should we just, still keep on start investing in the bigger businesses or, looking to outsource or expats?
So I definitely think the way to go is inside the community and absolutely inside the neighborhood. So as a healthcare provider, I am an advocate for using mutual support aid kind of networks inside Black communities to get medication to where it needs to be, or find medication that's more affordable, or also utilizing resources that are available in the community, like church groups or meetup groups or what have you, to form some kind of action item, like looking for cheaper medication, or looking for those coupons that can be distributed to the elderly, or looking for these kind of things that other healthcare providers have going on, these incentives like preventative medicine, and attacking it in teams, so that maybe every family got an auntie. Okay, look, this is what auntie found out. Every family got a cousin. This is what cousin found out, right? And so I actually encourage a lot of the people that I work with to use their social networks in this way, because it is a lot more trustworthy, because these are people that you trust. These are people that you go to church with, that you eat with. These are people that you play with, who watch your kids. So they also have an investment already in your well-being. So that's how I encourage people on a regular basis to explore like wellness very holistically.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. I still got to do my sit down with you. So we definitely want to be hitting up on that one. Um, and I'm thanking everybody for giving these good, quick, short answers. So that's showing me that a lot of people are already implementing and putting this into work. Brother Info, are you there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. Um, I know we've been going through trying times through some fires, for a lot of our communities and stuff. And that's why we brought about this question with the high rise of sickness and the economic conditions. What say you is going on with the conditions, or what are y'all implementing over there for the diasporas, in y'all communities, especially for the African Americans and other black groups? What are y'all implementing, to help yourself to stay afloat, or to actually combat this type of things going on right now?
Well, I have to say that it starts with education. So we have to first educate our community. We can't assume that every uncle or auntie is going to have the information. Some of our family members may, but I think those of us, I work in healthcare myself, been doing it for over 25 years, 18 years plus in mental health, and it's about education. We've got to reach out and teach one and reach one, community base. We have to recognize that we do have food deserts in some of our black communities, and we do see where I've been. We see people creating community gardens, organic foods. So we need to educate our people on that and start growing, I believe, our own foods. I think that's the key to health. Before you even, because so often we're so focused on pills that are made by pharmaceutical companies, and medications are not really meant, they're not really healing us. It's to make a profit off of us, and that's what pharmaceutical companies do. I think it's a shame when you have to go to Canada. Some of our team are saying that to go to Canada to get cheaper medications that are in Canada that are actually made in America, but for some reason, American society is making them more expensive for us here because we live in a capitalist society. So we cannot deny capitalism is what's driving all of this. So it's just, I think it's a matter of rolling up your sleeves, getting out there in the community. If I have done this, educating the community, and then we need black men. I'm talking to black men, particularly in the community. We need to do just like you do when it comes to voting. We need to get some of our elderly and some of our people who don't have vehicles and drive them to areas to get the cheaper medications if we got to go that route and what have you. Because there are a lot of people in our community who don't have cars and don't have means to get to these areas to get these cheaper deals or even appropriate fresh foods, because we do have food deserts in some of our communities. And it's just changing the mindset because we are so caught into eating cheaper foods because we had to feed ourselves, but they're foods that are low in nutritional value, and it's hurting us not only spiritually, mentally, but physically. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Um, if anybody, y'all got to fix your mics, please fix your mics or anything like that. I do appreciate the professionalism that we're actually showcasing, the show that we are actually professionals, in our field. And I covered over yesterday a woman. She was taking, she spent like at least over $3,000 out of her own business, and like was handing out toiletries, backpacks, school supplies for the single parents and that have to still go to school. And she was giving it. Like, a lot of parents are going to have their kids go to school, and already in Georgia, the infection had jumped up to 96,000 in just 3 weeks. So guess what happened? School got shut down, and literally, so you just infected 96,000 kids with the infection. We already know these minority-based areas. Let's not lie about it. A lot of blacks live in low-income areas, especially in a lot of these areas. So it gets pretty bad. And if we know that we have food deserts and economic problem, this is not us playing the victim card, but we're calling out what we know that some of us are now trying to combat by trying to say, hey, I think we need to stop going to Target less and probably go to Kai's grocery store. I think instead of us going to Lowe's, I'd rather go to Mr. Tony's hardware store. And if as long as we know he's getting the money, he can go get more supplies and bring it in, and that will keep the business, that will keep him afloat to help us keep afloat. We're joined here, Mr. Marlon. Are you there? I'm not sure if you understood how to get off of the.
No, I'm here. I'm listening.
All right, Mr. Marlon. So I know you've been getting to hear what's been going on. What's your thoughts on everything, brother, with the high rise of the sickness and economic conditions?
First of all, let me thank you all for asking and entertaining and inviting me on. I'm always interested to talk, good conversation in regards to economics and empowering of individuals and definitely Black folks. But to chime in on that one specific question, the key thing that I can say is, as I've heard a couple people mention, is education. Information is the key to success, is the key to prosperity. That's one thing and one aspect of the systematic process that always been kept from us, and that's the real word, the real true information and resource that we get. And I think today, as my grandfather has said, we as Black people are living our lives off TV. But we're not, if TV is the only source of information, it's going to be hard to implement and determine what route they interact to interact with us if that's all they're seeing is what they get off TV. We put the books down, we're opening up the computers, but are we reading or are we responding to what we're being reported? The source of information is always a key to implementing successful strategy in regards to a scenario of this magnitude, sickness, affecting economy. It's nothing new. It's the same. It's been that way throughout the country, the world, throughout, I would say, before my time period, but it's all about what resources we have today to, again, get over a scenario that we have no direct control of, but we have some influence in. And that goes right back to the simple thing of voting and capitalism. And that's the two things I would say. Yes, we can help one another, but information is what we need to be able to come up with a solution or a systematic process to help impact the African American and Black communities, no matter where we stay, what we have, and the money that we the current situation we're in, but what information are we getting to make better decisions for our future actions and rapport.
Okay, I agree.
Just to piggyback on what Mr. Marlin said, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Marlin. I'm very glad that Marlon Rollins is part of our panel. Mr. Rollins is a self-made man. I've known Mr. Rollins since he was a young man. He is now one of the largest contractors in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, whether white or Black. He employs hundreds of people each year.
There's some feedback on somebody's thing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He employs hundreds of people each year. And he has learned not only how to do direct income, but how also to do passive income. That one of the things that I hear so many people say is that we are a capitalist economy. Yes, we are. The way you turn from being a victim to a victor is to sit up there and identify how you can see a problem and provide a solution. Not all solutions should be philanthropic. Philanthropic solutions often help you keep your head above water until the rescue arrives. It doesn't get you out of the water that is about to drown you. That's one of the things we have to be realistic about. So when we talk about educating our people, we have to sit up there and say, yes, food banks are great, but they're only a short-term solution to an overall problem of the deserts in that community. What do we do about the distribution chains? We get these great community-based farms. And how many people can they actually feed? If we were able to contribute to these farms and say, okay, we have this, we're turning land into healthy alternative foods and vegetables for our people. We have to look at the distribution chain. How do we better build the distribution chain? Because we've just said a lot of people cannot come to these centers where we have even free food available. How do we distribute that food? And if we are distributing that food, what do these people owe that have participated in receiving free food? Could they not come back and be brought in, even if they don't have a car? Could they look at the, let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say so I don't sound crazy. Look at the Montgomery bus boycott. That many of the people who didn't have transportation, they had other things to offer. They could do babysitting, they could do vehicle maintenance, they could run errands, they could cook food. It was a barter system. So let's, as African Americans, let's understand that we don't have to sit up here and reinvent the wheel. That we can sit up here and say, each one lift one, but if I lift you, you owe it to yourself to provide something for those that didn't get the same resources that you did. I don't care if you got a pound of butter. What can you do with that pound of butter to help two other people? One other person with that pound of butter. Can you bake them some bread? We need those strategic types of partnerships because we're in a situation in which we're about to be closed out. There's not a lot we can do with it. Either we start doing strategic partnerships abroad through the internet, or we start doing strategic partnerships between Detroit and Dallas, Dallas and Houston. How can we better build up our capital? How better can we build up our own distribution network so we can get the food and the medicines to those in need? Joe, back to you.
Thank you so much for that. We also, Mr. Tony, are you there, brother?
Yes, sir.
Well, you've heard everything being said so far, and you would be the last one on that. You've heard what's going on with the. We're still climbing with the sickness, and the economic scale still dropping. What is a way that we can probably start trying to turn this around in our communities, especially as Black minorities and in our diaspora? What is a way that we can start turning this around?
Well, I would agree with what I just heard about the barter system. The barter system is an excellent way for us to give to each other. I do house remodels, as something. A lot of times that I end up doing the barter system for things. If you can come over here as an electrician and fix stuff in my house, I can come to your house and take care of your plumbing. Those are easy ways to put us ahead, where we're not. One of the things is when you, like she was saying about the food system, also. When you give somebody to get ahead, and you tell them to turn around, I think one of our problems in our society, in our particular society, is we want to grab everything for ourselves. It's not about the brother anymore. It's not about the community. The community itself is not whole anymore. We don't look out for each other. So the barter system, I think, would be an excellent way to get back on that. Here where I'm from in Weatherford, we have a small Black population. That's always been a thing. But we help each other because we know we don't have any outside help. So,
yes, sir.
Jumping on that barter idea is just an excellent way for me. Something that I hadn't actually thought about as a whole, a bigger whole.
No, that's true. I'm also into renovation.
Can I also say one thing about that real quick?
Yes, and then after that, I'm gonna turn it to you, Seth. Go ahead.
Okay. The barter system is that's fine on a micro level, but to me that should be very limited. That's not something that we should look at as a long-term solution, because you have to have economics, you have to have capital coming in, we have to circulate capital. Everything cannot be done for free. So if it's going to be a quote-unquote barter-like system, but it has to be an economic barter like system, because yes, Black people, we do spend $1 billion annually on hair care products. We spend $1 billion annually on clothing and shoes and jewelry and everything. So if we could spend money, we are spenders. All Americans are, especially Black Americans. If we are spenders, then we could spend within each other. I don't have to do anything for you for free. You could pay for my services and vice versa. But it should be some type of networking ecosystem to where we refer each other to another Black owned business that may assist us in what we need. And I think that's another problem with the Black community. We always want the quote unquote hookup, but we really have to start reprogramming the way we think. It is about capitalism, and it stands for, it's about gaining capital, it's about economics. So barter system, yeah, but let's barter with our money.
Okay, I dig that. Yusef, go ahead and kick it, brother.
One addendum I wanted to put on before we go to the next subject is twofold. One, I agree with what the previous statement. The barter system works in very small communities. It doesn't work on an even citywide scale for those who live in large cities. The barter system is great, but it keeps you in the same circle as people who are where you are on that same level educationally and economically, which leads me to the other side of the coin. One issue that I think we should at some point address, or if anybody wants to also talk about it, is when we talk about all the Black people working together and how it worked in the past during the Montgomery bus boycotts. The reason it worked is because the local Black sheriff, carpenter, teacher, and college professor all lived within a few blocks of each other. Now we're dealing with brain drain, which I'm part of. I want to be very clear about that. And I'll even leave a link here in the comments if you want to post it on the board. Great. About brain drain. I'm using Brazil as an example, but I've lived all over the world, and there are huge communities of our best and brightest that live there. Because at some point, one of the things that we have to do is say, is my life meant to be fighting an uphill battle against a country that never had my nor any person who didn't have a serious economic advantage, fighting that boulder and rolling that boulder uphill? Or can I say, I'm going to do the best to make sure I stay away from the legal system, no prison record, get as much education as I can, and leave? And what you find is the ones that would have had the best chance at helping our communities, and I'm guilty of this, I want to put my own neck on the chopping block. We have to also say, if I can fight really hard and almost succeed in America, or at best become mediocre, but I can take my talents to another country and be paid and respected exceptionally well, that's a very hard thing to say no to. And that's something I want everyone here. If you want to talk about it openly, that's fine. But if you want to think about it, all I ask is that you keep on the back of your mind, there is another option. There is why don't I just get out of here?
No. That and I thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and push up into the next one. We've also been joined here by brother Research. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to have you here, brother Research. With the failure of the nation education crisis, since we're talking about education right now, with the failure of the nation's education crisis and the shortage of teachers, is it time for Blacks and brown minorities to step up and mentor their own? This is not a myth. You have more people outsourced outside of the community teaching our children. Not that I say I have a problem too much, because if somebody got to teach the kid. And I'm hearing a lot of people saying, well, my kid don't know this. I met a child that's 17. He doesn't know how to do fractions. That was crazy to me. I was like, wait, how did you? He said, after a while, they just pass you along. So I'm like, well, I started going over the best way I can over fractions, teaching him Pythagorean theorem. But there should have been no reason why on the work site, I had to take a tape measure and start teaching them fractions. Fractions is a big deal for any of us who work in renovating. You got to know your fractions. You don't know your fractions, you can be messing with all types of measurements. So, but that just showed me, dang, we might definitely need to start looking at teachers, but we also see teachers and mentors are very, very starting to come up short. Is this something that we probably need to start now, so being more attentive to, especially with the way schools are starting to close up? Is this now?
We can't complain about the teachers so much, Joe. I don't mean to be rude. But we can't complain about the teachers when we sit up there and say, you guys, we got $2.1 trillion in spending power. That's a lot of money. It's not. Not when there are essentially 45 million African Americans in the United States. That the median income of Black people throughout the United States, median, is $50,000. So that means that if you are a Black family and your median income is $50,000, you're sitting up there with a two-bedroom apartment, two-bedroom house, maybe three. But your housing expense per month is literally $2,000 a month. When you're making $50,000 a month, you are $50,000 a year. Let's break these numbers down. That's a little over $4,000 a month. That's gross. We're talking gross numbers. Black people gross, not their net take-home pay. Their gross. The median average of gross pay is $50,000. So let's talk about the disposable income that Black people have. That yes, we do have a tendency that once we make our necessities, once we sit up there and pay the $2,000 a month in our rent, or which is often more in rent, mortgage, we're paying our $1,800 a month mortgage. Now we got to pay our property taxes. We got to pay our insurance. We got to have 2 cars. I mean, are you understanding that $50,000 a year for the average Black person, they're getting necessities? That after they pay for their necessities, drop down minimum necessities. We're talking median. We're not talking about the poor. We're talking median, average. We're talking median person in the Black community that is comprising this $2.1 trillion of spending power. Most of that spending power is going to go towards necessities, or we're going to be going towards government programs to meet those necessities. So at some point in time, we have to sit up there and stop pouring out these great big huge numbers and say, what does these numbers mean for the average Black household? If the average Black household is working with $4,333 per month, and the majority of that is going first towards housing, then toward utilities, then towards food, then transportation, and they have, I have $500 play money, $500 play money per month.
1 minute.
And, I need to do something to feel good about myself. Are they going to pay for health care? Are they going to pay for a new TV, new tennis shoes, new clothes? Something that makes them feel alive, happy about providing for the necessity. Which one is human nature going to say that they're more likely to do?
Okay.
Joe, I'm just saying.
Okay,
But
so
what is that? Oh, God.
no, the reason why I want to point that out, listen, y'all, the schools are steady closing down repetitiously. You cannot stop education. I know as an adult, our days are done, but those kids can't keep on going months on months on months without education. After a while, you're going to see the gap is going to be too far gone. Like I know we like to think that internet can teach, it can't. I hate when I hear people say YouTube can teach my kid. That's a big failure right there. Like no. This is why I'm listening. I'm not sure if any of y'all ever been to private schools. They teach on the pace of the child. So literally, you could for some guy who's on YouTube saying, I can't find a job, but if you have up to a 10th grade education, that means from 1 to 7, you can teach somebody from 2nd grade all the way up to 6th grade. That's income right there. You can literally sit down and teach math and English, the general studies, and then y'all can find another teacher. That means y'all can literally develop your own you understand what I'm saying? You can literally develop your own programs and find somebody who's a carpenter and say, hey, okay, after school, I'm going to take you over to Mr. Tony, and he's going to teach you carpentry. Boom. You literally just now made 2 jobs while that child was getting educated. by making two guys a team. So it can be
BMT.
done, but that would mean it would be on your own dime.
Can I pour some gasoline, please?
Go ahead.
BMT, I want to. After I'll let research speak, but I'm qualified to speak on this issue because I've done it. So I'll let
go ahead,
brother research say what he got to say. But I'm gonna bring up a scenario based on something that really happened that I was involved in, which is why black people, we need to get away from this because excuses are too incompetent, and when you use them, you seldom. But I'll stand back. Brother research says what he has to say. But I'm going to give you a tangible example that I was involved in and continues to happen. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, brother research. Go ahead.
All right. So I listened for a while. I even scrolled back to a couple of things people were saying. Let's stop playing around. The reason our people are the way they are is because we're not hiring our people. We're not doing what other cultured people are doing. So let's stop pussyfooting around because it always comes down to, and excuse my language, I'll tone that down. It always comes back to the get the bag people versus the people who want to see our people advance. And also we got these people hiding among us who don't have us as their first interest. They look like us, but they ain't necessarily wanting to see us win. They want to see their flag culture win. The reason I bring that up is because for the past time you guys been talking, I haven't heard anything about, hey, we really don't hire each other. We hire white folks at these black companies more than we hire qualified black people. And when we do hire black people, we want them to lift our boxes, scrub our floors, mop, do service work, and give them a contract here and there. When are we talking about hiring? Last year, hired 5 dudes. I work in medical finance. My job is not an easy job. I'm 27 years in medical. When I tell you it's black people that stop most black people, especially black males, from getting into medical, let alone ascending. Let's take the gloves off for a minute since all of us are here educated and doing well. We don't hire each other. We have a get the bag mentality. Most of what I've heard thus far is about a get the bag mentality. Okay, I got money. So what? If I can't see BMT do well, if I can't see Information Man do well, what is the point? I need to have other people, ladies included, be the image of how great it is to be the children of us. But that ain't what we're doing. We're talking about, we can go into tech and do what? Facebook is firing black folks left and right, and black folks ain't doing nothing about it. What are we gonna do? Google has less than 1.5%, they said, according to Newsweek, of black folks working at Google.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Go ahead. Tell me when I can speak.
One quick comment. This is Mr. Rollins, and I want to let you know, that I agree with probably 95% of the things that you just mentioned, but we can't put everybody in the same category. I've had my company since 1998 and never have had more than 51% employee base of non-minority, from females to black historically utilized black colleges, as well as, like I said, black females, white females. Rollins Development and Rollins Construction has never had more than 50% employee base non-minority. So hiring our people professionally, my employee base requires, based on the services we provide, degreed professionals, architects, engineers, construction management degrees, business degrees, accounting degrees. 51% of my employee base and have hired up to 100 people have been minority hired employee base. So let's not put us all
now, Mr. Rollins. I totally agree with you, Mr. Rollins, but here's the issue. You and I are the 3%. You and I are the 3%. We're willing to risk our positions, or in your case, your ownership, to make that happen. I'm talking about to the silent black majority that don't lift a finger. I'm not talking about me and you, Mr. Rollins. I'm not talking about BMT. I'm not talking about Information Man. I'm talking about the people who are in our black spaces that can go every year saying they made money, but ain't nobody within their pyramid, nobody within their Rolodex say, hey, because of Uncle Joe, Auntie Ruru, I'm doing well. The problem is we're focused too much on our immediate families, Mr. Rollins.
One minute.
I want to mention something after information there.
Yeah, but
let me finish. Because none of this has been said the entire time we've been up, that you guys have been up. And again, I went all the way to the front. The problem is Filipino. Let me be quiet. Go ahead. I'm done.
Go ahead.
Let me just say something. I agree with what Mr. Research is saying, and I also believe with his name correct. Whole stereotype people of one thing, because black people are multifaceted, but we do have disparities, we do have issues. But I don't think anybody on the panel has actually, so far that's talked, has answered the question that BMT put on the screen. With the failure of national education crisis and the shortage of teachers, is it time for black and brown minorities to step up and mentor their own? This is something that I've done. Now, there's no excuses. When you can take a 18-year-old and a 19-year-old, as I was when I was in college, and you can go into a black community that was riddled with gang violence, all sorts of issues that were going on, and go into that community, work within a vacant building and mentor and work with young black children who you followed into their college years, as I did, only as a college student, no money in my pocket. So this whole thing about we need money, that's all bullshit in my opinion. It's about your ability and will to make a change. So we were able to track and follow these young men as we had upper mobility coming out of school. And you don't have to necessarily be in college for this. But I was lucky to be a part of an organization in which we were able to track young men and young ladies, mentor them, and we have academies. One where I live at, we have an academy where we bring professionals, black, females, and male professionals to, someone said on here, which was very powerful, we need to look at the skill sets of what people have. So we examine what are the skill sets that children have. If a child wants to be a doctor, you connect them with someone who looks like them, who is a doctor that can mentor them, whether it be business, whether it be working with their hands, whatever it may be. This is done. It can be done if we have a will as a community. So when you talk about black mentorship, yes, we have to step up, but there are organizations that are doing this, but we don't give them credit. We got 100 black men, okay? As much as people want to make fun of the Divine Nine or the Boule, as people call it, there are people within those organizations that have actually done more to help mentor young men and ladies that have gone on to success stories that we don't hear about. Okay, that are investing. So if you can't roll up your sleeve, then support an organization that is doing the work to mentor. I think under this crisis, we're going to need people in the community that you feel comfortable with, that you feel that they have best intentions in mind, to roll up our sleeves and work with our kids academically as best we can, to fill the void if they're not going back to school during this dangerous time for children to go back to school. So if we're going to talk about education, it is up to me as a black man, black woman, as a community, if we even have that anymore. We have black people who occupy a lot of places, but do we have real black community anymore? It's up to us to take the ball and run with it and stop using excuses for why this, because I'm a living testament to know that you can make a difference. And there are kids out here that are being properly mentored by black people. Just, you don't hear about it. The television is not marketing that. We have to push that. BMT, when you give us these questions, you need to keep us on topic of the question, brother.
I got you. But
because we're going on to the other areas here.
No. I got you with that info. But sometimes let them rock. Like I said, that's why I always let people say I let them speak their truth on what they know to their level. Like I said, like that's why I brought up after they finish
And
up with
I
their
don't think.
study. No, hang on. Let me show you. After I
Yeah.
like listen to what I leveled it out. After I had them do their general studies, right? I will take them to a brother like Mr. Tony, who's in carpentry, and push them under his tutelage.
Right.
So
Right.
I was trying to give them the breadcrumbs of I've seen this in some of my Armenian friends' store where they will take their daughters or their sons and start showing them how to work the books. And so by the time I'm like, this kid right here, you would think they have a tax business, but literally while the mama is doing the taxes and the dad is running the storefront, guess who else is doing the taxes? That 12-year-old kid. And I'm like, holy crap! Like he was like, Mr. Johnson, you want me to do your taxes?
Right.
Like, and I'm like, there should be no way this 12-year-old is doing it what an adult has to go to school for to get certified on. But because they've been doing it so long, it is easy for them because they have been. You know how we used to take apprentices, and guess what? I'm gonna teach you the trade. It will never depart from you. That's why they say if you teach somebody a skill set, it will never depart from you. They can always fall back on that. And
Yeah.
that was one of the bread and butters. And when everybody
For those who have,
right, that was our
You're
bread and
right.
butter.
No, BMT. I
if
have
you
daughters
have for those of you who
I'm
have,
sorry. Who's supposed to be talking?
It's going to be Dana. It's for to get it to Dana. I got you, Dana.
I agree. Dana, it's you, Dana. I agree with you,
Yeah, we're not gonna
BMT. If we, for
interrupt
those
you,
of us that
Dana.
have kids, the first is from us. We should teach our kids whatever skills we have. I have a daughter, so it is my responsibility as a father, as a parent, to teach her whatever skills that I may have in the future. That's it. Just using excuses. Go ahead, Sister Dana.
Let me read the super
Sorry.
chat. Shout out to X. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Let y'all know all donations are not going to me. We have children that have to go back to school. All my proceeds for this month are going straight towards the children that are going back to school. What we're doing is, let me show you. We have some people. They are making little masks. They're making little masks for the children. They have it mandated with the school. Kids don't have to wear masks. I was looking at them. Are you crazy as hell? Why do you not want the kids to wear masks? So we are making little masks for little girls and little boys. You're not about to have my community kids getting sick and jacked up. So all y'all coins, if y'all want to donate, I will put it down there below. But these are going towards babies that have to go to school. And a lot of kids don't have, if adults don't have masks, a lot of kids definitely don't have masks. So I'm just being realistic at this point. So all y'all donations are going towards kids getting masks on their face and hand sanitizers. So we gotta be realistic, y'all. That's coming down the pipe. A lot of kids are going to be getting sick this year. Go ahead, Dana.
Yeah. Well, I think Seven Project wanted to go because he said he had to slide off. But
Okay,
one,
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. And I'll just go after him.
So to answer question number two, I was homeschooled in my early life, right, till fourth grade, and my mother putting me in public school was probably the worst decision that she has made. Just for you guys to give a little background, I am one of 10 children. I'm the seventh child, right? Hence my name. And I was the only one that was homeschooled for some odd reason in my family. And upon going to public school, so to speak, I ran into many dilemmas because of what I was learning at home was too far ahead, and I got in trouble a lot. I'm saying this to say that the onus is on the parent to teach the child, right? And school, as I look at it now, and this is just my personal opinion, is like quote unquote professional daycare, higher end daycare, and that's how most parents look at it. I do think, and I proposed this idea even in my community, but not many of the teachers in my community shot me down. I said we need to figure out a way to incentivize teaching in our particular districts because no one, all of the teachers here in this community of where I'm at in Brooklyn, they teach outside of their community, right? And now that schools are closed and we're locked in place, you would think that they can capitalize by becoming homeschool teachers. but no one's thinking of that. It's almost as if we need the permission of, you know, the little white man or the little white woman in our heads and the greater society before we can do for ourselves. And I think that that's a part of the problem. And I do believe that pretty much an attitude adjustment or mindset adjustment, if you will, is in order. And that will lead us to, like, you know, greener pastures, if you will.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Seven. Shout out to the $10 super chat from Back to the Basics. Thank you. All proceeds, again, they are going towards not me. All my proceeds are being dedicated towards kids going back to school. My kids will not be going to school. I told that to them. Yes, and I am on the school board, but I told them I will not put my kids in school. So all 8 of my children are staying home. They will be at home with Pop because my kids, I cannot afford them or the elders to get sick. But I will send them with sanitizer and masks. So thank you for the $10 super chat. All content creators, let me showcase your channels because I feel like y'all, before 7th even rides out in the sunset, I want to showcase your channel. I'm going to take care of that.
Here.
I think, let me get y'all channels going right now. There we go.
I mean, Joe, can I say this while we're showcasing the channel?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'm put in position to be on both sides. So if a teacher is telling me that, you know, $60,000 a year is what they need to survive. Okay. If parents sit up there and say, I cannot afford $150 per week per child to have my child kept, you know, I'm not talking about educated. I'm talking about just kept, entertained. I'm talking about the summer school program. We have to sit there and have an honest to God talk about what value do you place in your child being educated every week? 40 hours, 30 hours? What value do you place on your child? Is it $10? Is it worth $10 an hour? Because I hear a lot of people talking mega. I'm going to say mega. Donald Trump is my guy. But when you talk mega without any reality, okay, it kind of diminishes the point. That if you're working 30, 40 hours a week to educate a child, each child, isn't that worth, if you're educating someone else's child, isn't that worth $300 a week? If that's what you're putting in to educate that child, isn't it worth $300 a week? I don't hear anybody talking about the practicalities of educating your child when you turn it over to someone else. Are you prepared to pay $300 to $400 a week for someone to educate your child? And don't sit up there and say, oh, it ain't gonna cost that much. They don't need that much. But if someone is educating my child, the value to me as a parent that's not able to be there because I'm making more than $10 an hour. So the value to me as someone who is out there making a lot more than $10 an hour is I can see paying someone $10 an hour. So please, somebody tell me, if you're not making $10 an hour yourself, or you're not able to afford $10 an hour. Sorry, I have.
Not trying, man.
It's okay. So let me do the showcase
of education per hour per day. I'm just asking, what is the value? What are you willing to pay?
Let me
Most
show
We
you.
paying it in property taxes.
Hold on.
Custodial parents don't care like that. Most of our custodial parents don't care like that. Everybody who's connected with any teachers union group, that's what I was gonna say before Dana chopped me off. Yeah, I'm part of Oakland teachers group out here, black teachers. It's hard. It's most of the parents are not looking at it like that. Somebody said earlier, it's glorified daycare. So when it comes to education, a lot of people are telling people, hey, go fend for yourself. Figure it out yourself. It's the same thing I say when like guys specifically go to college. People say, well, women are getting so many degrees and so on and so forth. I said, do you know how easy it is for a woman to get a scholarship or a grant compared to a guy? They got grant. When you open the grant book at college, they literally got in parentheses for women only. Isn't that supposed to be sexist? Isn't that supposed to be lacking of equality? You got
Don't
cancer.
challenge it.
It's called affirmative action.
Wait. I think it's real funny when I speak, I get interrupted.
Well, Joe, why don't you gain
I did
control
ask to
over
go
it
after
then?
BMT.
Dana, you've been talking
And
about
number one, I never cut you off, Mr. Research.
All right,
So let's
let me be
not start
quiet, man.
that.
Somebody tell me when I can speak because Dana keep cutting me off.
No, Dana's not cutting you off. And stop saying
I'm
that.
just saying,
Because Dana never got to speak after.
Pause. I got Mr. Yusef Wati, I have Miss Kai, and I have Mr. Tony. And I'm trying to keep the panel etiquette.
Right,
Y'all
but
all
you're not
got-
keeping.
we got it in the email about I did it.
Going after
If y'all want to talk about it on your show, there's the questionnaire up there. Please take it to y'all's show and y'all can tackle it on and on. But literally, I have professionals that all have to talk. I know we all like to, I know we're used to being the one band stands, but we have to do this. So let me get this out with the other people. I cannot have it where people want to go ahead and start asking 28 questions. No more 28 questions. No more. So what if you have this? I don't give a shit how much money y'all got. All I care about is solution. If you don't got a solution, shut the hell up. Because literally, I've did this already. I'm doing it now. Kids need masks. I'm putting my money up to get masks. People need jobs. I'm taking them down to the temp agency and putting up my dollars. So we got to start making solutions. Brother Yusef, I know you're out there in St. Paul. You're out there trying to find a solution about this education crisis. I saw you doing it. Go ahead, brother.
I want to dispel a few quick myths, and to do that, I have to talk about what qualifies me to stay 43 years old.
Mute up, everyone. Go ahead.
43 years old, but I semi-retired at 37 from a 10-year financial career dealing with investments, insurances, cash value life insurance. I can tell you, after working with so many families, there is one big misconception. When we talk about, and this is not an attack, it's an observation built on 10 years of experience. When we talk about the median income of any family, particularly in the Black area, what we're forgetting is that doesn't represent the majority of people. You have that top 20% of people who are represented by a lot of the folks in this panel. The rest of us are so far down the economic ladder that for them to even consider ponying up that $300 a month, it's not that they wouldn't if they could, it's that they simply don't have those means. And for so many of us, public education, which is guaranteed to us because of our tax dollars, when that fails, we have no recourse. When you have parents who dad might have done time in jail, mom might not have been able to accomplish much, we should be able to lean on our public school and healthcare system. I understand right now that we don't have a situation where they can go to school, but we have to remember to tell someone who may also be using school as, and this is a pejorative, as a babysitter for their children, not so they can stay at home and watch television, but because while their children are at school, they can go out and make that $5 an hour, that $10 an hour, whatever minimum wage is in America. So for so many Americans, it's not as if they're looking at why don't we open schools again because I'm tired of my children. When those children are not at school, I have to pay more for food because we can't underestimate how many of those Black and brown children get that breakfast and lunch there, and mom and dad has to go out and earn money. This is going to hurt our communities and communities of Black Americans worse than anybody else. Because I work with the people and I'm largely funded by the people who can afford it. But that's not the majority. The majority of Black people will never be able to get over that hump, and that public education was the only real chance they had. I don't see anyone saying, and I'm not telling anyone who has had this experience it's not true. What I'm saying in my experience, especially those who are have-nots, it's not that they don't value teachers. It's that none of them could afford to pay a teacher what they were worth, which is why our tax dollars do that work for us, which is true for most Americans. And I don't want to dominate the microphone too long. I want to put that out there, and I'm welcome to any questions if you have from anyone on the panel.
Right.
You're good.
I would like to make a comment.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Miss Dana. Go ahead.
I definitely agree with everything you just said, Yusuf, and that's a valid point that a lot of people are overlooking. So when someone went like Mr. Research, he brought up a good point as far as hiring black people. But how many black people are in position to hire? Who's CEOs? Who's in management? So you have to look at that aspect. And myself, who do plan on hiring people in the future, I look at it, I'm just not going to hire someone because you're black. Are you qualified to do the job? Are you professional enough to come in and present yourself in professional manner? I look at the whole person, not just their skin color. It is not my job to slide a job application under your door for you to go fill it out. We do have to take self responsibility, of of what we do with our lives, no matter what social economic you may come from. So with that said, again, you have to look at someone's social economic background because that's going to dictate how they are educating their children. Do they have the time to educate their children? Because they probably working 2-3 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. And then is it a 2-parent household? Because if it's 2 incomes, that means you do have more money for tutoring or for supplies or for whatever you may need. And then you got to look at it in a labor sector. How many people black people are in powerful positions or in management positions to just hire, period? Because it's not just about hiring black people. You do have to now with corporate, you're talking about diversity, and that's all people of different backgrounds that are non-white. So again, you have to be qualified. You have to be in those positions, and you really have to start with what can I afford and what can I not afford, because something's going to go towards the waistline. And to your question, even if you cannot afford, a tutor or anything extra, you really need to take time out during the week to sit and read to your children. Just basic things like that goes a long way. Less TV time, because it is reported that black people watch the most TV, than any other race here in America. So limiting TV time, not buying those video games. And even if you do buy because it's Christmas, limiting that to maybe on a Saturday or something like that. So if you don't have the money, that's when you do have to look at, okay, what else can I do that's feasible to mentor and educate my child? Then you reach out to the community, because if you do have mentors, then they can mentor your child, help your child with schoolwork or whatever, so they won't fall behind. And now that we have this COVID-19 pandemic going on, you look at the makeup of what is school going to look like, because we have to understand we don't know the exact number, but how many parents or one parent, if there's one parent head of household, have to go to work and a child is below high school grade, not in high school, so what do you call that, elementary school, and they have to go to work, they can't work from home. Who's going to watch that child? And that person don't have resources to come to their home to watch that kid while that child is doing online classes. They have to go somewhere. And it's a lot of parents that are in that situation. And when you look at those type of parents, well, what color are they? They're black. That's why, particularly in the Newark School Board, Newark, New Jersey, schools are opening, but they also going to have virtual learning. So it's going to be a limited amount of students going into the schools. And once you reach that limit, that's it. But they're being selected of who's coming, who's staying at home. Do you want to stay at home? So they're giving parents options. And that is what counts, is having options. And if you have less money, or if you're down the social economic pole, your options are less. And that is a problem. And it just one more thing for the record. I didn't cut you off, so please don't go in the chat room saying I did.
Go ahead.
That was uncalled for.
May I add?
No, brother D. Darrell, go ahead. With the failure of the nation education crisis, and I know somebody asked me on the back chat, how do you know? It's simple. It was literally the person who's over the education, the Secretary of Education, literally says, I don't know where to go from here. So when they're saying when somebody that literally is at the top of the top says they don't know, that's a failure. That's a failure, 100%. So I'm not making these up. With the failure of the nation's education crisis and shortage of teachers, that's another fact, you can look it up. It's time for Black and brown minorities to step up and mentor their own. And the reason why I brought up black and brown, because y'all literally live in the same communities and interact on a day-to-day basis. It is not even funny. Go ahead, Brother Diderot.
Well, thank you for having me aboard, man. I also want to say hello to everybody in the chat and in the panel and so on. So, what I would like to say in regards to this particular issue is that um, there are organizations. I would definitely like to know the source that that came up with the fact that is a shortage of teachers, or are they talking about certified teachers? In regards to the context of saying that it's a shortage in itself, because from my understanding, particularly in the community that I'm in and so forth, and what I've seen throughout various counties throughout the state of Texas, there is a great deal of retired teachers who continue to mentor children in our community, and they have consistently volunteered, whether it's in a grant situation, organization. Also, there are people that have done things in certain types of churches and so forth, that they have volunteered and provided tutoring and things of that sort. So um, we have the professionals to do it. So I don't get where the shortage is, because there are tons of retired teachers that are willing to give their time, and there's a great deal of them that are willing to donate their time for free, um, if they're already retired. But what I would say as a solution to that, I just think that we may, if that's evident and if that's been reported as such, we just, I think that it would be important for us to reach those particular teachers and those that are in education who can provide more mentoring. And also, I think that it is important that the parents also be more interactive with their children, particularly for those that are not able to go back to school, and they're required, or it's mandatory that they do online classes and so on. Um, One thing I want to point out, as these kids are at home and so forth, as something that I've noticed the decline in, being that I do provide contract services for a variety of alternative schools and also juvenile detention facilities and so forth. There is a decline because of the school to prison pipeline, that these kids, because these kids are not in school and so forth. I see a decline in kids behavioral issues, particularly uh, getting on probation, going to court for a variety of different things and so forth, particularly black males. That there is a decline in that in regards to kids who are being criminalized for behaviors that they would have been criminalized in school. That they're not being criminalized, they're not being arrested, that we're not having these truancy issues.
Mute
So
up, everyone. If you got background noise, please mute, please.
so
Go
so
ahead.
so
Go
my
ahead.
thing is that I do think that this opportunity that has presented ourselves, we may need to relook at the delivery, or the way in which education is being delivered. Because I know for a fact, when schools were open and before things, I dealt with a lot more issues in the community in regards to children's behavior, as opposed to why kids are sitting at home. And so and I've had parents that have actually talked about potentially not sending their children back to school and probably going through an online process, or an online modality. So I think there are a variety of different solutions that everybody has talked about. I think that there's not one particular solution that could be better than other. I think that as parents and so on, I think that we all should look at all alternative ways of doing things and which one fits the best for your child or for your situation, because not everybody's in the same financial situation, and so on, the way you work and the things that you're doing, particularly within your jobs and businesses and so on. So I think that the more solutions we have, it doesn't matter which one is better than the other one, because what may be good for one family may not fit well for the other family. So I think having more options, to me, I think would be the most important, because therefore you can pick and choose and assess which one would be best for you in regards to making sure your child gets the best
Okay. So pretty much, I did drop the links to the sites for you, brother D. Darrell. So that way people will know. Okay, he just fell off. There we go. I grabbed him. I did drop the links. Teach.com is literally what do teachers and resources and everything. If you want to know about that, they literally will tell you the states, alternative education careers, all that. Literally, I'm not sure if everybody remember on the news when the teachers were complaining that why do I have to pay for my own supplies when that's supposed to be given by the school? That was literally big on the news that they weren't getting paid a lot of money, so people were quitting. They weren't getting paid, and also they had to be disciplinarians, psychologists, parent, and teacher, and now they got a doggone concealed carries, and now you telling them to play nurse. Like after a while, I'll be like, hell with that. I'm not getting paid enough for this. Like no. I think we had like 4 teachers quit, but they're like, I'm not about to risk catching COVID, and I have kids at home. So, and also the teacher shortage is real, large, and growing, and worse than we thought. And that was in 2019. They got every year these articles keep coming up about. I think in my state of South Carolina, in the College of Charleston, they literally pay black men to be school teachers. I repeat, if you are a black man and you don't know if you can get a career, they will pay you in my state to go be a teacher. But we don't hardly got none.
How much?
You are definitely, huh?
How much?
Hey, listen. If I go get into that, I have to go get into that. I know we got a few of them that literally they didn't know what they wanted to do with their life, so they say I'm gonna go be a school teacher. Some of them like it. Some of them like I don't know, but literally, there's not that many of them. But for a state to want to pay you to be a teacher means there's not that really much of y'all. It's not really a lot of y'all circling around. So I can honestly count how many black male school teachers I've seen, and there was only 4 of them. There was 4 of them. I had 2 of them. One of them ran for as a politician. So I only seen 4 black school teachers when I was coming up.
No, I'm not discounting Dana's point, but that's one of the things that we have to realistically talk about. That when teachers in most southern states are right around 48,000, in northern states maybe they get 60,000. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have a college degree or a 2-year degree, and I'm saying because there are 2 tracks, you can become a substitute teacher without a college degree, and you can become a teacher with a college degree and the necessary certifications. The differentiation in pay between the 2 of them is nominal. But again, as I say, each school district pays, and I'm going to say this, between $25 and $30 per child per day. That's what the school district pays based on your property taxes. If you need care outside of 8 to 3, your child is either too young to go to school because they're under 5, under 6. The daycare rate is $150. If you need someone to take care of your kids from 2 to 6 or 7 at night, that's usually $100 a week. I mean, it comes to $10 an hour. Many people cannot pay $10 an hour to just sit and watch their kid. That has been a truism. That if you sit up there and say, daycare, can you pay $10 an hour for someone to watch your kid?
No.
If you need someone to watch your child, one child, Monday through Friday.
Let me push it on. I get you talking about the.
And I totally,
Brother
teachers
BMT.
are not paid enough.
Is it on there?
I saw me pull up.
Yeah, teachers.
And somebody in the chat is
Teachers are
saying people up north, like in New York or even New Jersey, yeah, some teachers may start off, depending if you have a master's, maybe 70, maybe. But that's not a lot because look where you live in New Jersey and New York, and it's expensive. So if you look at the salary and you look at the cost of living, you're just evening out, breaking even, if that. So again, teachers are not paid enough nationwide, even depending on your location. If you're in the South and you're getting paid 45 a year, that's
Nope.
still not enough.
They only
So
make
so so
33,000.
so
They
so
make
are we willing to
33,000
pay
where
more
I'm at.
taxes to
So
pay
that
teachers?
ain't shit. 33,000 ain't shit.
So when you
I'm
talk
letting
about
you
black men being teachers, that's why I asked how much are they paying them? Because men, period. Why would they be a teacher if they know I could make more money being an electrician or something? You know, I have the qualifications to teach, but I'm not going to get a $45,000 job when I could make 70 over here. But if you offering someone 70, 80K, yeah, you will see more black men doing that.
We have
So
a
Joe,
B- B-
we have,
B-
we
B-
have a
Joe,
substitute.
Let me
BMT.
know when I
Let
can
me
hop
I
in,
got
BMT.
a substitute person who worked in the school district. Ji, I'm gonna let you rock, and I got to get it over to Kai. Ji, go ahead.
All right, the answer to the question is it has to start on the family level. Hold up. Yeah, it has to start with the family. The number one issue I saw and why I left, because it was a thankless job. It was pointless. They want you to be a daddy in there. If you're a black man and you're teaching, and I was teaching at the elementary level, they want you to be their daddy. That's what it is. Those kids, and it's no fault of the kids because children are children. But what they had to deal with and the parents, it was pathetic. All right, these kids are at least 2 years behind. Okay, they get pushed through because the schools have to keep up appearances. The schools get graded, and they just end up getting pushed through. They don't want flack from the parents. The parents get upset when their kids are held back. So just to avoid all that, they just push them through. It starts at home. We cannot undo the issues that are going on in a child's home. And if a child is seeing, like some of my kids, some of them were in between homelessness sometimes. So I taught at a Title I school. It was 99% free lunch. Some of them, they just got through. They'd be crying. I take them out in the hall. What's going on? Mommy was yelling at a man, not the daddy now, just whoever mommy's boyfriend was at the time. When kids are going through that kind of chaos, they do not care about me trying to teach them how to tell time. They just don't. And it breeds these behavior issues that go into a whole nother role. And if you're not black, they just don't have the patience to try to deal with them. And teachers, they want you to be their therapist, their parent, their coach, everything. It can't be done, especially like y'all mentioned, for the money that it's been doing that is being paid for it. So if more men were in it, it would help. But like they said, the money is not going to be there. But the solution is the family. If it doesn't start with the family unit, then the kids are already just gonna, nothing else is gonna even matter. They got a bare minimum have a family at home that cares,
B-
and then a lot of this will take care of itself.
Go ahead,
let me
information
just
man. I gotta get
I
it.
have
I gotta get it
I
over to
have to
Kai.
say this. It's a no brainer that teachers should get paid more money. They're not respected in our society as they once were, and as a result, we see what we're seeing today. Where, like the brother is saying, as a teacher, especially when you are a black male teacher, and I did a video about this. A lot of times black male teachers are seen as disciplinarians. So they go to the black male teacher to fix the problem of what's wrong with this kid or that kid, to be sort of a truant officer at the same time be an educator. A lot of times black male teachers find themselves in that situation. But in my experience, because I want to get back to the issue of mentorship, in my experience, the kids that I worked with over the years were kids that were seen as throwaway, that they weren't doing well in school, what have you. And because of what we were able to do, along with the help in the community, we saw kids' grades increase because of what we were just doing outside of the school environment. And I think we need to get back to outside of the school environment because was I getting paid for doing this? No. See, we make everything about money. I'm talking about if you're mentoring. It's not always about getting paid if you're mentoring because you're doing something because that's the passion you have for the community at that time or for that time. So I know when we as black people take it upon ourselves to raise the community, that village, be the village of that community, then you see the difference in kids. Why? Because these various kids that I've dealt with over the years, I have talked to them personally, and they knew that what we were doing outside of school was making the difference. So, yes, when we talk about childcare, all of those are expenses, yes. But I think it's really about the question that Brother BMT is asking is it really time for us as black people to get more involved in taking command over our kids' education? I was not a trained teacher per se, none of the brothers that I worked with, but we were educated for whatever it's worth. All of us had various vocations, and we used what we were learning at the college level and what we had learned in our life to share with the youth. And then we followed them through their situations and talked to them when they were going through things at home. Then, and I'll end here, with the academy that we have in the area where I'm at now, we have a parenting group where we now get parents involved with the mentoring and education of their children, having parent groups to talk about the things that Michelle is talking about. We have those kind of groups. And then for those of you who say, well, you being the cleanup man, we also, along with those parent groups, we bring black men who are the fathers of these kids and get them involved in the parenting groups and find out either why are they not involved with their child, or what is going on financially, what is happening, and where is it that we can help. I say it again, there are community groups, there are organizations that are doing this work. No one talks about it. No one gives a damn.
Families. There has to be a start.
Sir, what did you say?
I'm not pushing back against.
No,
I'm not arguing with him.
Jay, I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna end it right here. We're gonna push on. Myself and BMT have done videos talking about schools. There was a school in South Carolina where he lives at that was getting ready to go out of business, and we called for people to support the school. We did a video. How many views did I get on that video? So when we talk about how serious we are about our youth and our kids and our education, many people are called to this challenge, but few actually take on the challenge. I have taken on this challenge. Many brothers and sisters have taken on this challenge, and we need to do what we can and roll up our sleeves. And it first starts with your family and the community that you're in. And that's why I said we can do something rather than just sitting back and letting shit happen.
Okay, so let me go ahead and pass it over to Kai for this one, and then after that, I'm gonna let the next question come on through. Kai, with the failure of the nation's education, me and you went over this. Shout out to an amazing young man that is learning how to do entrepreneurial skills as well as salesmanship. That used to be economics, used to be taught in school like that. It's not taught like that anymore. Some schools don't have the ability to even teach that. Is it time for us as a people to step up and say, yo, we got to start filling in the gaps? How many kids are taught Red Summer, the Devil's Punch Bowl? That's not, I can promise you. I've already looked through my friend's historian teaching. That is not taught. That's something that you got to learn at home. That's something that, Yusef had to sit down with his son and teach him that on a one-on-one basis. You're not going to learn that in school, certain stuff. Because they're like, hold up. I'm not trying to teach this kid this stuff. I might have a riot in school later on tonight. So do you think it's time for we, start pulling our children aside and say, you know what? I think I might need to pick up on your education now, especially with this crisis going on. Go ahead and rock there.
Yeah, it's past time for that. Especially in New York State, if you look at the statistics of New York State, most of our schools have been failing. That's from the elementary level down. High school to middle school, excuse me. We have some of the best colleges though in the country. So there's something wrong There's loopholes, there's other things going on where how do you have a state that has such great education in this area but not in this area? The fundamentals of life are learned early. Somehow, particularly in the Black and Latino community, it's being missed. And like someone said, it starts at home too, a lot of it. A lot of it has to do at home too. The teachers are not to raise the kids. So I'm going to say that first. They're there to teach them, but they're not exactly teaching them. The curriculum has changed 2 years ago. So we went with core since then because there were failing education systems in other states also since then. Excuse me, I got a bunch of devices going on here. So it's that's part of it, a big part of it. So you guys have to ask yourselves too, are you satisfied with the education system? Whether you have a kid or not, okay? Because it still affects you. The generations coming up are the future. They're the ones that are going to be running things. So you need to know how their education is too, even if you don't have a kid. But that's for a big part of it right there. The funding for certain universities, but such a lack for public schools. I've already been looking into homeschooling for the past 3 years, so that's why I'm already ready to start homeschooling. Because for some time now, it's just been a huge failure in the education gap there. So, you know, we got to find some more solutions with that. And some of it is homeschooling. Now that you have unemployment possibly as a resource for income and or possibly working at home mobily or starting your own business so that you can, I encourage people to teach your kids. And even if you do have them go to school, you still have to teach them things that the school is not going to teach them. And when I say that, I guess it's more specifically, for Black and brown kids. There's just things they're not going to learn at school. So are you going to teach them at home? I hope you would. But you know what I'm saying? On another note, though, Joe, seriously, or what we, talk again, but when you have like these type of subjects, you have a lot of people and all this, and like it's not about personalities because we're all supposed to have our own personality, but it gets repetitive with the talking over and we need to just get everyone to, at least that wants to answer, let everyone answer. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets blown by, and then there's so many good ideas that someone has, and then it's lost because now they're skipped over. And then there's the back and forth, the little side stuff. We could nip that in the bud a little more, please. Because you know what I'm saying, personally, until then, I don't know how much of that I could really deal with. Because you guys are all got it going on. You guys are smart. If you guys weren't, I wouldn't even waste my time. But it's not even just about being professional. It's people out here that don't have jobs that are smart too, because they're living their experience. We need them too to come to the table and talk and discuss this because they're going through it. It's not about your degrees. It's not about how much you make. It's about your passion, and it's about the wisdom that you have and are seeking to gain, because nobody know everything. The wisest person knows that they don't know enough. There's always more to know. So will we please gain and keep order in this chat?
I wanted to say that
so I can get out of here. It's way too disrespectful. Let me just get out of here. Can I just say mine and bounce? Okay. So
I got brother.
Go ahead. It's your thing. Go ahead.
Who's disrespectful?
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother Tony.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I'm literally a living example of this right now. I got kind of frustrated with the school system and my child not being able to see teachers of her hue, of her color, and wasn't understanding the same. So we took her out of school. I've been homeschooling her for about 2 years now, so it's a reality experience for us. Her grades have improved drastically since she's been at home. We take the time to sit down and go over the things that she's having problems with. I'm glad that she's more comfortable asking for help. All these things weren't happening before we were doing the homeschooling. And we don't just stop when the normal school year ends. During the summer, we pick her up a couple of extra books. For her completing those books, she gets a couple of things during the summer. We make it an experience where it's not all about discipline 24/7 when you're doing that. So she applied for an academy. We put her in this homeschooling academy. They got 300 kids in her grade. She's in the top 5%. You know, those are huge gains for her to be homeschooled by the family instead of her being out there. So I just wanted to say that, yeah, just like she said, it's been time for us to step into those roles and fill those. And I also wanted to say, we need to take away some of these stigmatism on trade. So often we tell these kids that it's college or bust, that these trades don't mean anything. And, you know, putting these kids in some real trades to put those kind of dollars to invest in something later on is the route we need to be going. So, you know, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about it.
Okay. Thank you for that. Let me do this. I wanna actually do this. I haven't done it, and I do apologize. Um, Something I always do, but I love you guys more than y'all can ever know. First off, I want to give a special shout out to the Seventh Project, a young brother who goes over philosophy, mindset, literally about um, a young brother trying to find his way in building and getting a job, learning how to find a purpose in life, not staying channeled on that anger. Shout out to the Seventh Project. I put his link in the chat. The next brother, I love going over to him. He's a world traveler, social agitator. Oh, he's good at that, as well as a financial mercenary. Also, he has a Patreon as well as a membership, and where you see fellow Gem, brother Yusef Watif, and literally, Yusef is coming on more. He's coming on. I'm loving Mondays and Thursdays, and he's going over stuff that you literally can apply. I didn't know that you can go to college overseas and use it here in the U.S. for much cheaper. But Yusef has been going over that, and he has been teaching this on his channel. There's always channels that are very fundamental that always get overlooked because they're not about clout, they're about focus and finding your purpose. Shout out to you, brother Yusef. Also, shout out to the real Dana. But I'm about to pull up something that she went over. She does Magados, as well as she goes over topics of stuff that as people of ADOS and different other members inside the U.S., as well as going over constitutional rights, and also manning up with Judge Joe Brown. Shout out to Dana and her content. You can catch her throughout the week, literally on her channel. She goes over a lot of good topics. A brother that is real close to my heart. We've been rocking and growing together. Information Man. And literally, Information Man, you got a good spirit to keep on going over your content, searching for the truth, looking deep into a lot of information, doing research, as well as content of stuff that affects us. If he was actually the news, he would actually kill it. And he's out there showing us channels and stuff of information on politics, putting together a lot of the information and research that we need to know. He stayed on it when it came to COVID, the George Floyd and different other stuff, and set up the interviews. I asked him to keep on going, keep persevering. And last but never least, one of my brothers, a fellow conservative, and literally a brother who teaches. He's been in the manosphere before the manosphere was a manosphere. So that I let you just tell you is Mr. Research, and he's about being a man. Stop worrying about women and tricking and all that stupid stuff, but actually putting your time and your efforts into things that matter. And that's very hard to do because men rather focus on draws and booty and sex and being hateful and spiteful rather than actually getting their stuff together. But Mr. Research is trying to teach y'all about focus on politics and tangible things that y'all actually can achieve within your lifespan and what you can invest in. Shout out to Brother Research. So I definitely wanted to do that. And I asked us to actually have respect for each other about these kind of things because these things can help us build, you know. One of the questions I bring up, and I'm going to start it off, and I had to pull this one. Dana just beat me to it. but I'm gonna let Yusef hit at this first. I'm gonna throw it at you, Yusef. Akon
Joe,
told us that we should move forward and build and invest. Can y'all mute up, please? Yes, yes. Okay.
Joe,
So
before you read it, can I
ASAP.
just say,
So pretty much, yes.
I was just going to say good night to everyone,
Yeah.
okay?
Go ahead.
When I was just wrapping that up. Thank you. I just want to say peace,
Okay, Kai.
okay? Yeah, have a good night. Gotta go.
All right.
Can I see her page? I'm gonna subscribe to everybody, but I missed hers.
Who? Come on, Kai. You talking about Kai?
Yeah, Kai 007. Yeah, I didn't see her.
No, she works.
I want to subscribe
She
to her.
works
I
for
want
my
to subscribe to
channel.
everyone.
She works for She works for my channel. Yusef. She works for my channel.
Oh, okay.
She's
All right.
She's
Ask Michelle to mute.
Michelle, you need to mute up there. You got stuff going on in the background. I don't know who that person is that keeps trying to come on my channel. I'm about to just ban them. But we go ahead and I put it back in. So Akon asks this. Akon says that we should move forward and invest in building our own in Senegal. Was he right? Pretty much, if y'all don't know, Akon has been working on building a city. He's been having a lot of different development and stuff going on there. And he's been doing it at an affordable price. He's also asking people in America, hey, if you feel like your trade's going to be more of a higher value, come over there to Senegal and put in your money, put in your time, and literally you can live like a king over here or king or queen over here. Was he wrong about that? Literally, in talking about new investments in other areas than just the America.
Can I answer that? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Yusuf.
Go ahead, Yusuf. Go ahead.
I believe he's right, but not for the reasons that you may think. I have enough friends and clients from the African diaspora in the country to tell you that when they talk to Americans, they often use the we, us,
Mute
our.
the mic.
Someone is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're
just interrupting again.
Okay, one of the things I've learned is it's great advertising to use words like we and us and these people. What I say is when you look at investing inside or outside the United States, we have to look at it through the cold lens of capitalism. Again, I want to put my own name out there. I love money. I love capitalism. It worked for me. It worked for most of the people on this channel. But I can tell you I did that by saying, what are all the best options? And all things being equal, yes, I will choose someone that is black. But one of the first things you learn when you deal with Africans, Jamaicans, everyone is black, so how do they make their decisions? Not based on skin color. I'm not saying we're all equal. We all carry the mantle of being black differently, but I will look at Akon. Akon is also looking into cryptocurrency, which is something I've been dealing in for probably 8 or 9 years now. He's looking at the Acoin. I don't know if that's been released. Will I look at him as an investment option? Yes. But another option I have here in Brazil, having a permanent residency here, is I can invest in Brazil as well. What we have to look at is we have to learn what investment is in the beginning. We have to look at fundamental education and investing, which is hard when we're talking about a group of people for whom basic math hasn't been taught. That's a disconnect that I keep seeing. I love talking about investments with the folks here, but most of my cousins back home in Niagara Falls, New York, got a basic education which didn't even include that. And now they're stuck on a treadmill of trying to work that minimum wage job just to not have the lights go out. So we have to be careful. You have to take the time to learn. People come to me and ask, can you teach me about cryptocurrency? Can you teach me about investments? Everyone is angry with the answer because I say, no, I'm not going to tell you where to put your money. We're going to start by going with this book, and we're going to go over it chapter by chapter till you understand how things like that go. But it's a very difficult path. For example, I'm going to try to share something with the screen. There is a phenomenal book. That's a simple book, but it's a good book to help everybody understand the basics of money. The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a book that I try to read fairly often. I'm going to share it. If you can share that on the screen, there you go. There. And if anybody here needs a copy of that book, feel free to email me. I'll get you a copy. You know, my email is yusefwatif@gmail.com. Is what I'm saying making sense, Joe?
I agree with you, but when I did my show on that, The issue, because honestly, I'm interested in investing in Akon City. I think that's a great investment, particularly for African Americans and any Black person throughout that diaspora to invest in Akon City. But what do you need to invest in anything? You need capital. And then let's just focus on African Americans here, which I'm talking about ADOS, because that's the people he was talking about. When he said that comment, and he actually was interviewed by Karen Hunter and elaborated, but was basically the same thing. When he said that, why didn't he include everybody else that don't forget their history of oppression, like the Jews, the Indians, the Japanese, who all got reparations from America and other countries? And I highlight the Jewish people because when they got reparations, that economic empowerment allowed them to travel or migrate to Israel. It was a state created for them, pushing the people that was there out. That economic empowerment allowed them to go there if they want to, and a lot of them do, and they buy homes, which is valued very high, which what is you're creating generational wealth. So I say that to say, and this goes into the top of reparations, because when he was saying, "Oh, get over slavery," in the context of you have to move forward and not stick in the past, I get that. You have to look forward, but looking forward is fighting for what is owed to you. And along with building your generational wealth, working and investing in yourself and your family. So you could do 2, 3 things at the same time. So, and he also said, "Oh, come home, come Africa as a continent." Well, what country? And it depending on the country, you have your own shit over there that y'all need to figure out that you have not, because I don't trust that government in different countries over there in Africa. And they're colonized as well. So just talking about Senegal, what money do the African Americans, the ADOS people here have to go and invest in Senegal, in Akon City? We don't have any. That's why we're fighting for economic empowerment here, what is owed to us, and trying to gain and get out of this financial hole that we was put into due to COVID-19. So it's a lot of it. So it's out. You're never supposed to forget. You're supposed to use that, what happened, get what is owed to you, and then you build up on that. At the same time, while moving forward and still trying to provide for your family and for your community and create generational wealth. So he was just out of line. And there's always someone who is non-American or have who does not have a lineage here, that always saying something, sidestepping, saying something about our lineage and history here.
I have to agree with what Real Dana is saying 100%. I heard what Akon said on the interview that he did with the Russian man, Vlad TV. It's kind of funny how you got people like him that are talking about black folks in America with Russian individuals.
Add something
Unbelievable.
to it.
No, I'm going to make my statement and finish what I'm saying. What I want to say is I agree with her, because ask Akon this. Look, investment in the continent of Africa, if we have the capital, I'm all for it. We should invest in any way we can if we have the money, we have the capital, and what have you. Absolutely. And of course, he's asking us to invest in Senegal because he's got something going on over there that's going to benefit him as well as his people over there. But let's keep this real. Where did Akon make most of his money? He came to America. He came to the States and made his money in entertainment. And then he's telling us to get over slavery and get over our history, when won't he say that to the Africans that come from the continent over to America? If things are going so great in the continent of Africa for those that are of different members of different countries in Africa, then why are they coming over here, going into our schools? And I'm not trying to do conquer and divide, but I got to be honest. And they're getting into our universities using some of the programs that were created for ADOS in the first place. So they come over here, and I don't hear Akon making any complaints about why he has his own people leaving. Why did he have to leave Africa, the continent, Senegal? to come to America to make his fortune first. Because why? Most of them will tell you that they come here for opportunity. Okay, he got an opportunity in a country that we were born and raised in. Then he takes that money back to his own people. What we learned from Akon is that as black people in America, when we earn money, we need to do the same thing. Invest that money in our own communities. Because most of the brothers and sisters that come from the continent, that's one thing that they do that I got to give them credit for, is that they'll come here, take advantage of the opportunity, and then they'll bring that back to their country. Then they'll turn around and tell black people in America, oh, get over slavery. You don't worry about reparations, as he said. And then have the nerve to tell us that we need to now take whatever money we have and invest it in their particular country. Now, wait a minute. If we're going to do that, what are these countries offering us? Are they offering us dual citizenship? What are they offering us? If they want us to bring the bread to the table, what are we getting for it? For last time I checked, Ghana is the only country that I know of in the continent that's offering citizenship. From what I found out through research, it's very difficult to even get that when you pursue it. So Akon is making economic sense that investment is important, but why is he now having criticism for black people, saying that we're scared to go to Africa, and then he's on there laughing with that Russian on live TV talking about we're scared because of lions and tigers, that we think that tigers or something's gonna come in the hotel room. What is that? A stereotype. So he allowed himself to laugh and giggle at us. Yet he has not gone through what we've gone through here, and yet his own people are running over here by the hundreds to America. Make that make sense, ladies and gentlemen, today. Make that make sense.
So let me get it on and pass it on, and thank you for that info. Always telling the truth. Let me go ahead and pass it on. Who would like to go after that? Thank you for all of that. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Research.
So hopefully I can say this uninterrupted. Look, this is the same thing, and this is a great thing that Yusuf said, but this goes back to why I tried to mention about economics. When we had a full panel, we was all saying the same thing. The solution is economics. It all comes back to that. But many people don't know, and I have to backtrack because I wasn't able to finish. A lot of the teachers have to beg for their job every year. A lot of people don't know that. I'm part of the Black Teachers Project. Please look it up on Facebook. Out here in Oakland, we started the first Black boys middle school staffed by Black men. How did we do that? We did that because we had to get dollars outside of the normal public process. So when it comes to solutions and Akon, I'm getting to that. Please understand everything comes down to economics. So when it comes down to Akon, look at this, and I'm going to do a video about this Ku Klux Klan stuff that Akon had to say. What's really funny with this, just forget what happened in the past. He still can speak his language. He still has his flag. That's significant. When he goes to Germany, all he has to do is look for a Congolese restaurant. When he goes to Russia, all he has to do is look for a Congolese restaurant, and he's with his people. None of you can just look for American flag, see a country huckbuck there from Louisiana, and feel like you about to get all the great information. So that's why I say it's about flags and stuff. Akon is doing the same thing that the Liberians did. That the Americans come over, they bring their dollars, they help build Liberia up. And why did the Liberians go to war against the Americans who helped build their country up? That's the point that Information Man is just making. That's the point that other people are making. It's like, what are your guarantees once you've brought all these dollars? Because we know Americans, y'all like to get the bag. Y'all willing to come over with your resources and do something temporarily, and then we'll take the power back and kick you out. But here's my last point. And I'm glad people were able to speak freely before. I just want to say, where is the African hospital here in America? We got a lot of African doctors. Where's the African hospital they built? Matter of fact, where is the African movie theater? How about that? Let's go something real low end. It doesn't really exist because, just like Information Man said, you got people coming here now that there's no more German shepherds to bite on your hand. Now that there's no more white folks pushing you around and beating you with clubs. Now that it's safe to come here, you can come here and you can reinvent yourself and take that money back. But once again, Information Man made a good point. When you go there, what are you? You're a customer. You're not part of the process, because even Indians, and this is a real, a lot of people don't even know this. It's a lot of Indians who have come there 20 years before, gave birth to an Indian wife on African soil, and now consider that son African, and he's running stuff.
Big facts.
So let's be real clear on solutions. It all comes down to economics. And my last point: if we don't hire each other, and I do mean qualified, if we just sitting up here just only going after the best candidate, our fellow counterpart immigrants are not doing that. Filipinos hire the worst people and then sit up here and give them on the job training for a year. Chinese do the same thing. Your competitors are not doing what you nobly want to do against your own people. And that's all I'm trying to say as a solution. Hire each other and recognize when other people are talking these things. Let's get into the details. Teachers have to beg for their job every year. So we ain't even taking care of these people. That's what I wanted to say earlier. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Researcher. Go ahead, Diderot.
All right. So in regards to this particular topic, I find it, I'm off. I am a Pan Africanist in a sense, and I do agree with us, as far as wanting and having an innate connection with the continent and so forth. But the bottom line is that if just as Mr. Research, I mean not Mr. Research, but Info Man stated, you have to give us some tangibles. We're taking. They're not looking at the risk that not only the financial risk, but the safety risk that we're taking going to these particular countries. I mean, I find it somewhat suspicious with the fact that over the last 5 to 6 years, Akon has been in this quote unquote capitalist type situation where he's trying to connect and do all these different things, and he's had all these people investing in him. I'm going to say for anybody that wants to invest with the Akon City and so forth, there are a lot of people around Akon that we don't know about. There are people who are funding him and so forth because this just came about too quickly in regards to Akon and his status as far as trying to get into the investment game and so forth. You just don't go from the music business and and in which he was pretty successful at one point, and then you go back to Senegal and so forth, and all of a sudden you're international, talking about investments and developing this and developing that. There's people that are non-ADOS that are investing in Akon, and they're using him as an instrument to get funds and to get capital into that country. So that's the thing I'm looking at in regards to him. But I mean, the outward appearance is good. It's a good idea. We should invest. Our dollar can actually go a lot further there than it would here. But at the same time, when you're saying things like forget, there seems to be a commonality amongst all these different groups that always think that we're the ones that's supposed to be the ones supposed to forget. But when the African comes to America, they don't leave their country, they don't leave their culture and language in Africa. They bring it here, and then they let you know that they're not ADOS, and some of them act in a way in which they, try to make sure that they separate themselves, or they tell other people, other immigrants and so forth, we're not like them. So they have a tendency not to forget. So why should we forget? So
True.
I just think that I'm very suspicious of Akon. I'm not saying, that's just me personally. If someone wants to invest in his projects and so forth, but I'm somewhat suspicious of how he transitioned himself to where he is now into doing these types of things. It may be genuine and so forth. But I just feel that from my perspective, it's somewhat suspicious.
Let me comment on that. Well, the thing is that you have people that are not going to be content, and if you have vision, desire, which is what like a lot of people are saying, they keep saying, you guys keep saying, we want opportunities, we want people in positions, we want this, we want that, we want the opportunity to showcase our skills and talents. Okay, well maybe he's just building a platform for that. It may not be for you, but it may be for somebody else. Because the thing is, it's not about investing money. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a physician, an engineer, a corps of engineers, and opportunities aren't here for you because of racism or whatever else, then you know what? There's your platform.
How?
Yeah, but brother, let me ask you this question.
How? When I hit
let me ask you this question, brother.
Hold on. Wait. Let me stop. Likewise, are you here to answer the question or to do rebuttals?
I'm answering the question.
Okay.
I'm answering the question and I'm rebutting it too.
Okay.
Because
people just answer the question. Just answer the question.
Okay. Because we just got done going to the thing where people were saying that there's not enough opportunities. There's one gentleman that came in and said, "Well, you know what? Go instead of going to college, go and get a skill set." And then you got people that once they get this skill set, the opportunities are not there for them to max it out and use it to the best of their ability. It's another platform. That's the only thing. You don't have to spend money. People, even if you got money, you still got to do something with your life. You know what I'm saying? It's not just even there. There's other countries where people are welcome to go do stuff. So, in all defense, keep in mind, he didn't have to do shit but kick back and spend his money and enjoy the money he made from his entertainment. He didn't have to try to help nobody on this earth.
Right. Okay. But does he have the right to tell a group of people here in this country what they should and shouldn't do as far as their lineage? You see, because I agree with you, and I do admire and appreciate what Akon has done, as far as the business, because he's right. He would not be able to have done that here in America. It is a leisure of doing things and getting stuff done in certain countries in Africa way quicker, and you have more resources over there than here. But these are people who have money. Oprah was able to open up the type of school she was able to open up over there in South Africa. Dr. Umar Johnson, he could easily have his school up and running in whatever country of his choosing in Africa right now the way he wanted. But because it's not open, it's because he's trying to do it here in America. But my thing is, as far as him saying, yeah, come back home, and that's broad, but I know what he was trying to say with that. I get it. But you can't ask people who don't have the resources or the finances to do that. He came here and was able to capitalize off of the backs and the blood and the sweat and the tears of the Black people here. So don't tell us to forget our history, because the history here, that is what is owed to us today, is what allowed you to come here, become a millionaire, to go back to Africa and get $1 billion contract from the Chinese to bring electricity to different countries that didn't have it. We gave you that opportunity, not the Africans in Africa. We did.
Okay.
Right, but yet he's making criticism of Black people in America, who it was Black people in America that brought his goddamn music, his albums, and put him on to be able to have the revenue that he has now. And this is the thing. I just personally think that what Akon's got going on sounds, from the outside, it sounds exciting, because I've read some articles about the city that he's trying to build out there. However, I think D. Durrell, and peace to him, made a good point. Who are the other investors? We need to do the research. But Akon's got to do more than just say we invest. Wait a minute, let us see the goddamn business plan. See, if you're going to criticize to Black people in America, then you should do like any other businessman does. Provide your business plan. What is it that you want us to invest in? Skyscrapers? Master communities? What are the opportunities? So when you're going to get up there and criticize us, don't criticize us and not be able to say, bam, here's my master plan. Here's my business plan. This is the opportunities that you have, Black folks in America. Let me not get on Vlad TV and talk about you like a dog Then at the same time, talk about us like a dog. Now you want to ask us to invest in something that you got going on. That don't make no damn sense.
Well,
and this whole thing, and where I disagree with your other guest, BMT, saying that, well, black people, we're not groveling about opportunities. Yeah, we may say we want opportunity, but just because Akon is telling us to invest in something without giving us his plan doesn't mean we should just run and invest without first doing our personal research. But he's got to also present his business plan and what's going on. What is the investment for us? Is it just simply him wanting to use black people's dollars over here to build up something that's going to benefit his people in synagogue who speak a language that we don't speak, who fly under a flag that we don't have? When and then he's going to have a nerve to tell us not to fight for our reparations when he did not come from this. Wait a minute, the last time I checked, you got some of the countries in Africa that are fighting to get their land back from Europeans, and we're not black. You don't see black people criticizing them and telling them to stop it. So come on, don't play with me.
And that's in their constitution information, man. You're referencing Zimbabwe. That's in their constitution that they're supposed to pay reparations to the white landowners.
Well, yeah, because that's what there were a lot of countries like that in Africa that basically went under the CIF, which when they got their independence, all their currency and everything was based on the French franc, and that's what they've been fighting for now. In fact, Italy has been.
That's bad business. You're paying reparations to people that exploited you, took your land.
And then on top of that, this goes to what the brother said directly. We can't go over there just to get service jobs. We can't go over there for temporary contracts. That's nothing you can raise a family off of. That's nothing that your son can buy into. Respectfully to your point, I would bring to the chat room to say the Arabs got a lot of opportunity in Chad, in Liberia, in Morocco. It's just the dark-skinned Africans are not allowed to have it. So therefore, there's opportunity right there. But they have to run to Spain. Oh, thank you. I'm here in Spain. I get to finally be free. But wait a minute. Why are you not fighting for your own country? Oh, because the Arabs ran you out of there. Remind you, the only thing stopping the Arabs from taking over all of Africa is Ghana and Nigerian soldiers. Other than that, they've taken everything else. So for the four of us who talk quite often, D. Darrell, Dana, and Information Man and BMT, we kind of always ask these questions. Yeah, it sounds good. But we saw the Liberians get ran out of Liberia.
Okay, so what you're saying is,
but that was about the U.S.
So what you're saying is that it's not even
it has to be something concrete. You have to have something concrete.
Here's the thing, though. Nothing in life is concrete, bro.
So then, therefore, we can't suggest anything.
Let him answer, Mr. Research. Let him answer to you.
Nothing is concrete in life. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you don't have to share his vision. But it is something that people are looking at. I mean, I'm not defending him in any way. Don't get me wrong. But there's very few people that have money, have influence, that are even looking into what he's trying to do on any scale on this earth. As far as black people. I mean, what you got him with the building a city, you got Jay-Z with the getting into the stuff he's doing. Even Kanye ain't doing shit. He's a billionaire. So
yeah, Robert is. Robert Smith.
I want to hear that.
And let me just interject this. Arabs are colonizers too, along with the European, and that's why when we see Morocco, Liberia, like northern African countries, which is heavily populated with the Muslim religion or Arabs, because the biggest slave trade ever was the East African slave trade, and that's still going on now. And yes, you have the West African slave trade, and you also have the South African slave trade. So Arabs are colonizers, the same way Europeans came in there during the Berlin Conference to colonize Africa and to break it up. So What is China doing now? A lot of people, I would say, a lot of Black Americans are cautious about is this the new colonizer? Because what China's doing in East Africa right now is building a brand new Silk Road. And if you
Yep.
go back in history and understand the Silk Road that was from what we call Norwegian now, all through into Russia, you're talking about massive trade ports, because you along um, um, Zanzibar, going up into Kenya. So they're building a Silk Road in East Africa. Now, if Akon got a leg up from the Chinese, is he talking about building a Silk Road in West Africa? Because that would be phenomenal. But are you also extending that to African Americans who are engineers who can help build the infrastructure? Because now you're talking about commodities to actually come in and help build infrastructure. You're talking about building a city. So do we have Black people in America right now capable of building a city, roads,
Yep.
skyscrapers?
So let
Black
me cut at this so I can go to the next one. As far as it goes for the Akon thing, and me and a few friends, they are African. We talked about this. I said before I invest in a country, invest in my town. Simple. I would like to see at least about $80,000 put into my town from y'all. And they were like, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, well, you use the college, you use Constitution, you use the 14th Amendment, you use all the stuff. But yeah, y'all didn't do that. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
We
But
didn't,
we did.
huh?
We did do that. A lot of people died for that. A lot of people got killed, crushed, and everything. If you want an investment, I want my investment first. It's like a company pays us to go through their training. So guess what? Now that you pay us, okay, then we'll come out there and work. But guess what? If we don't come to the first day of work, then that company just loses out. Because guess what? They already paid us. See, I'm a little bit of that type of mindset when it comes to thinking that literally I want to see you pay us. See, I don't want to see. I'm being honest. I don't want to see an African story, but they're running a Black American school. But then they're telling us to get my shit together. I'm just not doing that. I'm gonna tell you no. I want to see you hire if you want to hire me at your practices. But I dated an African girl. I did. Her father said I wasn't good enough. Don't date that Black boy. But I'm like, ain't you Black? He said, no, we African. He let me know. Quick. Really quick, he let me know. You American, you Black American, I'm Ugandan. We different. So he let me know real quick. And he pointed at that flag hanging up on his wall what he was. I understood, okay, there's definitely not a connection. So she was forbidden to talk to me. But the thing about it was, I'm just saying, if you want us to invest in you, you have to go. Mute up. I ain't got time to see all that. So if you want us to invest in you, yeah. So while I wait for how you doing on it. If you want us to invest in you, it's only fair. But like I said, I got nothing against what Akon is doing. I'm happy for you. But guess what? What do they always say? Take care of home first. You gotta take care of first.
Well, can I say
granted,
this without biting? I don't know if my mic has been muted or not.
No,
I
hang
just
on.
want to say 18%. I just want to say 18% return on investment, regardless. Colorblind investment, 18% return on investment.
But no. But here's the thing about that, Nichelle. Let's crack at that. If that's the case, right? If you want us to come over there, but mind you, if we take our dollar over there, then yeah, it'd be worth something over there. But bringing your money over here, is it the same? Are y'all getting this? Is it the same exchange
Yeah, it
rate?
needs to be reciprocal. Yeah, I agree.
So that's like me going over there, and I get some people showing up. Well, look at the house I built, all that other stuff. Okay, I get it because you're going to a more of a place where your dollar stretches more. But I can't come back home and say, well, my granddad's acre of land for me to buy grandpa information man's house back will probably have to be what 6 years to pay it off. I'm probably going to have to work double or triple that in that area. You get what I'm saying? To pay it off, because the money's just not going to equate the same. So you can't ask somebody. It's kind of hard to ask somebody, hey, who's been trying to pay off the family land or the debts or whatever, stop and just come over there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always hear it's the opposite talk. Y'all sending them over here to send the finances out there. I never seen somebody say, well, I'm going over there and making money, unless you're a big corporation and you literally are saying your main base is here, but you have the cheap labor out there working and they're sending it back here. I don't know no African American that's at that level, like where we're at, that can literally do that. But in that case, there'll be no need for me to go to goddamn Africa.
Investment and repatriation of your money. You can make smaller investments as long as you can repatriate the money. That there are a lot of countries, including countries in Africa, India, South America, where you cannot repatriate your money in the United States. Even if you do invest in those foreign countries, you can't bring the money back home to the United States without substantial penalties from both the country of origin and in the United States as well. So you have to understand these things. Passive income in the United States will tax you higher than active income. You invest in a foreign country, you got to worry about how to get your profits back, your income back. I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to interrupt people just to say something. But look at each country for their repatriation taxation.
Okay.
BMT, let me just add, let me add this because I was just thinking about this as everybody was speaking. I'm going to go back to the issue of citizenship. And I know that someone's going to say, well, the Chinese are not citizens, but guess what? The Chinese are dropping anchor babies over there. They're impregnating the women so that they have a lineage to the damn land. So if we are going to invest, let's say in Ghana or Senegal, as Akon is asking us, then I think as a black man in America, you need to give me dual citizenship, because by having citizenship and I invest and buy land or whatever I do, that gives me a connection to the land legally under their laws. Because over in the continent, and I hate to say this, but there is unstable governments. There's coups that happen all the time. There's governments that are corrupt. We got corruption in America, no doubt about that. But if I put my money in the bank in America, I know that my money is backed up by the federal government, tried and true. We know that. We have history to show that. But if I was to put my money in a bank in Senegal or Ghana, what have you, and there's a coup or something unstable goes on in their government, and I'm not a citizen to be able to say, let me go over there and collect my dividends quickly because some shit is about to happen. Government's about to change over. Something crazy is happening. What is my guarantee that I can pull that money back if they could turn around and say, but you are not a citizen, sir, but I invested money with Akon. Akon said invest money in the city, and I did this. I put money in the such and such community, and I can name these communities. And they say to me again, as they're going through their political strife, you are not a citizen, sir. What's to protect me from that without a guaranteed citizenship? Do you understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? If we're gonna invest abroad, we need certain protections.
Right. We need tangibles
stuff
from
can
them.
go real bad.
Right.
So, am I making any sense, or am I
No,
just
you're
flying
making
out of
perfect
out of the
sense.
seat of my butt?
Because I'm pretty sure in Ghana they at one point I think they closed their dual citizenship, but there was vetting which type of African American they want to have dual citizenship.
Exactly.
So
Oh man, I didn't know that part.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I mean
They
that
let
was that.
anybody in.
Yeah, I think they closed it. I think they closed it last year. I don't know if you could. I mean, you probably can, but you gotta like be connected with someone. But honestly, I do plan on traveling to different countries in Africa, and my first stop is Senegal. I really do want to go there and visit. Um, I'm very interested in and excited for him to have his city. But when you talk about logistics, you're talking about business. That's a whole. It's what information man said. What is the plan? What is your plan? What would you like for African Americans to do? To come over there and just get a job, or to actually build infrastructure to help you build up that
Man,
city? But you need capital to do it either way. But don't come here and tell us what we should and should not do with our history and our lineage. Like, you don't have that right. Nobody does.
the bottom line, the way I look at it, I think that a lot of these
And that
guys they think
most
African
countries.
Americans are ADOS, are not good business people, and they think that we're stupid. That's what I'm getting from it. Because there's no way in hell you asking me to invest in something that to me has all types of risk, and then you're not going to even come with me. You're not going to even bring a plan with where this money is going to go, how it's going to be invested, and all these questions we're asking, instead of going on Vlad TV and other different outlets to talk about what we should be doing and what we should be doing. Why are you not going to the business community? The black community does have some level of a business community, and going to those particular institutions and so forth, or college institutions, to market this plan, because that's going to be the
Right.
population that's going to invest. You're going on YouTube, Vlad TV, and so forth, when you should be going to the mega churches, black institutions, as far as business wise and education and so on, to market
Right.
and educate us on this. And they're not
You're
doing
right. You're right.
They
D.
are
Darrell.
already
You're right, D.
there.
Darrell, because
They're based.
who
Sure,
you're making
I
very
think your
good
clock and
points, D.
time is
Darrell.
off. Reset the thing.
Oh, okay. I think D. Darrell made a good
Go ahead.
point,
I think the
because
feed is
when you
off.
look
I
at
think the
that
fault.
Vlad TV,
Let me go ahead and push this out for y'all. Let me go ahead and push this one out.
Okay.
hello.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
And let me just say this.
I just
The-
wanted to agree.
Okay.
I wanted to agree with D. Darrell.
The
What do you-
No, I just wanted to
Naturalization
agree
Act.
with him
$1 million.
because you got to look at.
Wait, what happened? What is going on? Is
I
there
don't
like
know.
a delay or something?
I think it's got a delay going on. So, like I said, I'm that's why I'm saying I may have to cut this short. I don't know why there's a delay. So let me try this last one so we can cut this delay.
I just wanted to say,
yeah, the delay is actually starting to mess up the feed.
well,
That's
how
annoying.
long? You've only been on for 2 hours and 33 minutes.
I know, and I pay for the good service.
Okay, I don't know what would be create a delay, but
Yeah, and I think if I'm talking, you
uh,
don't hear it
man,
until when you're talking. I don't. It's
right.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, guys. We already did
StreamYards
2
has
hours.
issues that it still has to
just
work
do
out.
part 2 next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll do part 2. Okay.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Again, I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me?
No, it's okay. No, Michelle, it's not
Yeah.
you. It's not you, Michelle. It's StreamYard.
Let me be
It's not you,
real.
Michelle. It's okay.
It's not you. She can't.
It's okay. But I want to say this: D. Darrell made a good point, because you got to look at what is the demographic of people who watch Vlad TV, who even have the capital to do what I guess Akon would want us to do. He's absolutely right. He should be going to the business communities who have the ready-made money to invest on the level that he wants investment. Because if you're building a city, you're talking about millions of dollars upon thousands of dollars. You're talking about people that are heavy hitters on that level. So
Right.
what is the level of investment? Where can we come in our investment? Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 200? Well, he needs to give us the business plan of what he wants all of us to do based on where we are economically. I guess I don't
Right.
know.
And before you end this stream, two things. Information meeting, you probably already noticed. Everybody tune in tonight, CNN 10 p.m. for United Shades of America with the host Kamau Bell. He's the topic is the time for reparations, and Yvette Carnell is going to be one of the people he's going to be talking to. So, and I'm glad
Fantastic.
this is going to be highlighted on CNN, and this should definitely be a trending topic every day from here on out until we get it. Not until after the elections, but until we get it. And the second thing is a feedback. Can you do a part two starting off with this question for next week to
Okay.
have that conversation? But it
Right.
was something, I don't think that was the second thing, but I can't remember.
But no, I got you. So yeah, guys. I say this is the our power's come a long way. Uh, we're at more better. We're getting as time goes on, it's getting more refined, like wine. It's getting more refined. We're staying more focused. We're actually keeping it more. I know it's a little bit. I know it's just that we have a lot of content creators, but we've seen other panels that literally blatantly disrespect. That won't be happening here no more. Like we got too much gifts and talent and too much people, and that literally we can actually build. And actually, we were giving out tangible stuff, and it wasn't about economics or class or anything else. It was about finding said tangibles. I'm your host, BMT, alongside with my co-host, the real Dana. She gave y'all something very good to go on. I definitely would like to hear about this. If Dana shares it on her community tab, I'm gonna grab it, share it on mine, and definitely want to get it out there. Shout out to the co-host that came through. Michelle came through. Shout out to Jay, Tony, as well as Mr. Collins, and a lot of the content creators that came through. They came in and rocked the mic. Shout out to Yusef Latif, as well as Kai, my co-host. She really came through with handling the background stuff. Uh, so I look forward to setting up some things more so. There will be a part two to this. Like I said, the questions will have to get thrown away, but literally we got to answer this one right here later on. But I'll see you guys later. Peace. Y'all have a good day. Like the video, share the video, and also subscribe to the channel. Much appreciated. I'm your host, BMT, for the Hour of Power. Peace. Y'all have a good day.